and Nick.
Welcome to That Superhero Thing podcast, where we discuss the latest superhero and comic book movies and TV shows. I'm your host, Nick, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Anthony.
Hello.
You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. You?
I am. I'm good. I'm a little bit emotional today, though. This is the last episode of the Loki Takeover.
I know.
It feels like the Loki Takeover has been going for ages. It's been weeks.
To be
hasn't
fair,
it?
it's been
10 weeks, 10 or 11 weeks.
Because we did like 4 episodes before of the lead up, and then there's been the 6 episodes, so this is number 10.
It just feels like a lot longer than 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a
it's
bad
half
thing.
our podcast so far.
It is. It's just
shy
under
of
half.
Yeah. Mental.
Feels like we've been going longer than that, though. And again, I don't know whether that's a good sign or a bad sign. Like, it feels like it's been going forever. We'll let the listeners decide on that one, eh?
Yeah.
On this week's show, then, we're going to be breaking down all this week's comic book movie news, including some potential big Doctor Strange news, more Spider-Man toys, more toys out. One. I've written more toys. More Spider-Man toy. A new Star Trek movie, which, Anthony, you love Star Trek, don't you? Shut up. There is a new Star Trek movie, maybe. And Deadpool finally joining the MCU. Kind of, which was brilliant. We've got to talk about it. It's not really news, but we can't go through this week's podcast.
And luckily, I've seen it.
You've actually seen it, probably numerous times as well.
I know.
After we've done the news, we will be breaking down the final episode of Loki for All Time Always before discussing your thoughts and theories in this week's Pod Fans Assemble. And we're not just going to be doing Loki this week, we'll also be doing Black Widow.
Yes.
Because there was no Pod Fans Assemble on the bonus episode.
No.
So we've got an extra big, don't know what I was going with that one, extra large slice of Pod Fans Assemble this week. I like it.
Pod Fans Assemble XXL.
That's it, yeah. Let's run with that. This is your spoiler warning. There will be spoilers and speculation throughout the episode. If you'd like to skip ahead to the Loki review or to Pod Fans Assemble, we, as usual, will put timestamps in the description. News then. What If news. We've got some potential news about the Loki episode of What If. It feels like every episode.
I didn't know we were going to get a Loki episode, to be fair, with...
I didn't. I thought he'd just be part of the Thor episode.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, it might... I say news. It's something Tom Hiddleston said in an interview. So he was interviewed on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and when he was asked about What If, he started talking about like all the different scenarios that it's about. So, and most of them we know, like he said, what if T'Challa is Star-Lord? What if Peggy Carter took the serum and became Captain Carter? And then he said, what if Loki wasn't adopted? Ooh. So I can only assume that's going to be the basis of an episode. So we're going to get like a proper what if Loki was a frost giant. But I feel like he deserves it after how well the series went down. Yeah. Just the Loki series. It's like an extra little bit of Loki. But maybe, again, we've said spoilers already, maybe we'll start getting our Loki crossing into some of these alternate universes. Maybe we could end up having that being a variant of Loki. Obviously it is a variant, but that being a variant, and we see our Loki in animated form in that episode. That'd be good. I like that.
That'd be cool.
Anthony, did you watch Daredevil on Netflix?
I did not.
Didn't you?
No.
I don't know why I'm surprised, but I kind of am surprised.
So we heard about the film.
Yeah.
And we heard that it was very mixed.
What we heard about the film, you've never seen the Ben Affleck Daredevil?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one for a bad movie review. I'm gutted we didn't put that on the poll this week. We'll talk more about that later.
Okay, and then when the series came up, again, it kind of had mixed responses, so I just wasn't sure.
It was good, you know.
The thing is, when Daredevil and Jessica Jones and stuff were on, Netflix was having the bad habit of cancelling everything after 2 or 3 seasons.
They still are having the bad habit of cancelling everything after 2 or 3 seasons.
I know it's still ongoing at the moment.
Yeah.
But that was when kind of we started realising that they were doing that.
You didn't want to commit yourself.
Yeah, to something that was just going to get cancelled.
Yeah.
Because I don't like stories not being finished. It drives me insane.
Oh, like Manifest.
Oh. I mean, I didn't get that far, but I've stopped now before I get too annoyed.
Not happy.
Same with Santa Clarita Diet.
Yeah.
I was so annoyed about that one. I also watched...
Basically all the good stuff that we watched and nobody else watched.
Yeah. Alcatraz. Did you watch that?
I watched the first series of Alcatraz. Devastated, yeah.
That ends on such a cliffhanger. And then they're like, nope, cancelled. Yeah. So I just... No.
It's definitely got me weary about watching new series now.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I thought Daredevil at MCU was going to be solid, which it wasn't.
It's made us dubious about watching new series, but the reason they cancel is because people don't watch the series.
It's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah, so they're just going to kick
themselves. It's like a sacred timeline, just going round and round and round.
Tell me about
round
it.
the Citadel, just never
TVA
ends.
need to get to Netflix and start pruning some people.
Well, it's not there anymore. It's not no Marvel at Netflix anymore, which is kind of good. Anyway, there is a point to this.
Sorry.
There have already been. All right, we'll get there in the end. There's been rumours for a while that Charlie Cox as Daredevil is going to be, or not as Daredevil, as Matt Murdock is going to make an appearance in Spider-Man No Way Home. So this week, YouTuber Grace Randolph, who I have heard of, apparently she's like 50-50 on whether it's right or wrong, but sometimes she does get things right. She has said that not only is Charlie Cox going to be in She-Hulk as Matt Murdock, so somewhere we didn't expect him to be at all.
Right, okay.
He's going to be fully costumed as Daredevil. So we are going to see him as Daredevil in the MCU. She's then put not just as Matt Murdock like he is in Spider-Man No Way Home. So we could end up getting him in Spider-Man No Way Home and in She-Hulk. I think it'd be quite, if we are going down him being part of or from an alternate universe.
Yeah.
It would be, it's a good place to bring him in, isn't it? Because we're probably going to get, we think at this point, we're going to get variants of Spider-Man in there. Yeah. So you'd think we get that. We have got a bit more Spider-Man news. I wasn't going to go into it next straight away, but do you know what?
Segue?
It's just what we're like on this podcast, isn't it? We're crazy on this podcast. We just jump around and everything. So I did talk about the new Spider-Man No Way Home toys. Toy. This time there has been a Hot Toys toy released, or not released, just sort of shown off. Hot Toys. So it's like really, really good quality toys, like really good replicas. Massive, like 350 quid a pop. Right. Very expensive action figures. Grown-up toys. Yeah. Yeah. For grown-ups who like Marvel, who haven't got kids.
To admire from afar in a glass shelf.
Basically. Yeah. Not play with them. So anyway, they have released pictures of the black and gold suit. So it's just a much more detailed version of this new black and gold suit. On the black and gold suit and this toy, though, it's got the magic on it. So you know like how the integrated suit did on the Funko? Yeah. This one's got the magic on it. So it's got like magic on the chest. They look like magic webs. So the webs coming out have got... Shut up. I know what I'm saying. So shit when you say it like that. Spider-Man's got new magic webs. He does. You know what I mean? You know like what magic looks like in the MCU where it's all
sparkles.
Like, no.
So he's got glittery webs.
No, he hasn't got glittery webs. You know, like, shut up. You know how, like, you know when he, like, oh my God, where am I even going with this? Anthony, you've just ruined the podcast.
I'm so sorry.
It's magic webs. Okay. That'll do. That's all you need to do. If you'd seen it, you'd be all right with this. You'd know what I was talking about.
All I can think of now is comic book guy from The Simpsons. Worst superhero ever.
Exactly. It is. It's not going to be. It's going to be good. But also, he's got, in a couple of pictures, he's got like a gauntlet, like a gold gauntlet on. Yeah. And it looks like the webs are coming out of that. But it looks like, you know, like in Doctor Strange in the first one, they introduced us to like relics. So like the cape is a relic and the Eye of Agamotto is a relic and there was like the vaulting boots or something. It looks like that. So it looks magic-y. Like his magic webs. And that's why he's got magic webs.
I'm so calling it is Thanos glitter webs. If it's coming out of it.
That's it.
Gauntlet as well.
Call them glitter webs. That'll be on the packaging. Magic webs. Magic glitter webs. Anyway, Ant-Man. Why can't I say this title? Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. There we go. Got it. Vanity Fair have said that Corey Stoll, in some shape or form, will be back for Ant-Man 3. So he was the bad guy in the first one, Yellow Jacket.
Okay.
Who died in the first one, or we think he did.
Well,
he got shrunk.
It's open for everyone now, isn't it? For Multiverse.
It says it with it saying in some shape.
Well,
it could be a flashback.
Didn't we see his helmet in The Void?
We did. There was a Corey Stoll, aka Yellow Jacket. Do we want him back? Did he get really enough to do? It was a bit. It was like classic Marvel villain problem, wasn't it? But I don't feel like he just got enough to do. It was a bit like with both the Ant-Man films. They were both setups. Both of those films. All
I remember is that he tortured sheep. Like that's literally all I remember of him.
He just like melted them, shrunk them.
That's a form of torture, isn't it?
It's not if it was quick. Anyway, that's like a dark turn, Anthony. Well done. We might be getting, or we are getting, according to Kevin Feige. We haven't called him Kevin Feige, rhymes with base for a while, but yeah, we've brought it back.
Thanks for that.
Sorry.
Just the reminder we needed.
It's been like 12 episodes and we've not talked about it. As we said, we're at the end of the Loki takeover and we've not said Kevin Feige rhymes with base, so we've got to bring it in. We're getting more
and you take the piss out of me.
I know. We are getting... I'm building it up. We're getting more Agatha Harkness soon, according to Kevin Feige.
Shut up.
We are, yeah. He did an interview with Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm so happy.
They asked if and when we'd see Catherine Hahn back as Agatha. And he said, someday soon. And he said his hair return can't come soon enough. So, fingers crossed. But she is... I don't know if you've started filming Knives Out too, but she's in that.
Oh, is she?
When... I think that's only just...
I love anything she's in, to be fair.
It's in pre-production, so it's possibly going to be a while unless she's already filmed it. Unless she's already done some stuff for like... Even, do you know what? Even just a cameo at the end of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That'd be good.
I was going to say she might just be in one of the clips at the end of something.
Yeah. It's like a part of the after credit scene.
Yeah.
Mephisto. We're going to get Mephisto. It's going to happen at some
I know.
point. This week we also got the Emmy nominations. I am really struggling to talk this week. Sorry, listeners. It's one of them. I'm going to give the notes to Andy in a minute and just say crack on. But he's enjoying it too much, watching me just like wince every time I say anything. Emmy nominations. There we go. That's hard to say, that Emmy nominations.
Emmy nominations.
It is hard to say. The MCU have been nominated for 28 total, with 23 of them going to Wandavision. It's not been presented yet, obviously. These are just the nominations, but they are storming it. So it's all...
Is that because Loki is a bit too late?
Yeah, it was. It couldn't have been Loki, because it hadn't finished before the nominations started.
23 out of 28, that's some
No,
good
28. So Marvel have been nominated for 28 altogether. 23 of them are WandaVision and 5 of them are Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah. So they've been nominated for Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Supporting Actress in a Limited Series, as well as Best Limited Series as well.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier have been nominated for a few, but mostly only in technical categories. So like Best Editing, Best Effects. Apart from, which is really weird, Don Cheadle has been nominated for Best Guest Actor in a Drama Series. Don Cheadle was in it for like 20 seconds.
He did fuck all.
Exactly.
Sorry.
The thing is, though, even Don Cheadle has commented on Twitter and been like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I'll take it, but I don't understand why I'm in it. It's good, like. Just shows, though, how well received these Marvel shows have been.
Yeah.
I think we always knew they were going to be good. But maybe a little bit after the Netflix ones, it was a bit like, will he be that good?
How funny would it be if they brought back Terrence Howard as a variant of Don Cheadle?
I hadn't even thought of that.
Imagine.
That would be brilliant.
Where War Machine becomes the main.
Just like really awkward between them.
Yeah. I'd love it.
It was really awkward. Yeah, we should do that. And then we've got some, I say Deadpool news. It's not really news. We had a trailer. It was just the Free Guy trailer that was re-released, but it was Deadpool reacting. Deadpool and Korg reacting to it.
Right, to start off with, his little clip of his previous one of Cruella.
The first thing I really want to see it.
I nearly pissed myself.
I want to see
when he
it.
went, where are the fucking dogs? And it's so right as well.
I literally got written down, I want to see the Cruella reaction. Where are the fucking dogs? That's what I've got.
It was
down.
so
Amazing.
good, and honestly nearly wet myself.
Exactly, yeah. I like the way he says as well to Korg, like everyone else was busy at Disney Plus, so we got Korg. It's like the only person we could end up with. It looks, Free Guy looks quite good, to be fair. We'll definitely watch it, but I think it's quite clever by Disney because I don't think it's a big enough movie that many people will know about it or make the effort to go to the cinema to watch it, to be perfectly honest.
To be fair though, it's one of 5 that have been advertised since cinemas have started reopening again.
Yeah.
So it's one of the ones that were on my list anyway to go and watch, to be fair.
Yeah,
it's
I
Ryan
Reynolds
Reynolds,
it.
and I'm never not impressed by him.
No.
Having said that, I haven't seen the Green Lantern
You've
yet.
never seen Green Lantern. You're probably going to end up watching Green Lantern.
Yeah.
But I think it's just clever the way that they're promoting it. It's a relatively unknown, and it is a Fox movie. They make a point of that since the last days of Fox fire sale kind of way. But
that made me laugh
it's
as
a
well.
clever way of them doing it, and it just shows how powerful Disney are. It's like they've bought this movie and they've just been able to just put together. Korg must take a lot of work to get him on screen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fact that they've just been able to put this together, but it was brilliant, and I especially like the fact that he asked at the end, "Have you got any tips on getting into the MCU?" And this whole elaborate climb up a mountain, have a dream, fall down the mountain, lose the dream, get depressed, then get happy again. Absolutely amazing. But then at the end when he says, just check your emails, and it's like, but is that a sort of like hint at just, check your emails? There might already be something there. We've got, we know we're getting him in the MCU, but if they film that, it only needs to be a cameo. It needs to just be a cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home, or a cameo in Doctor Strange, or I don't know, Loki season 2, or wherever it is. But they can easily put a cameo together if they've managed to put that together. Fingers crossed. It's not. We don't have to wait all the way until Deadpool 3, because that's potentially going to be years away. And then last bit of news, kind of news. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but Doctor Strange 2. We said spoilers from the start, so you've been pre-warned. The Hollywood Reporter is saying that it's expected that Tom Hiddleston will be returning as Loki in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, okay.
Which I think was kind of a given at the end of the episode, that he's going to be back soon, rather than just in season 2 of Loki, which we'll talk about when we go through. The
I
review.
think he should push Doctor Strange through one of the doors and be like, "See how you like it."
An hour. I'm gonna leave you for an hour.
I've been falling for 30 days.
Yeah, something like that.
Bitch.
So, yeah, it needs to be in there. I think we expected it anyway, didn't we? We've not mentioned this before, but there's a TikTok video that we saw the other day, wasn't it? And it was saying how Loki, Tom Hiddleston, in an interview for Loki, was saying it was really good that he got to play Loki on set on his birthday.
Yeah.
And Loki's birthday, not Loki, God, I can't separate
Tom
the two.
Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston's birthday is the 9th of February.
Yeah.
And Loki season 2 finished filming
Season 1.
November. No, for God's sake. Loki season 2. What? I still said it again.
What is wrong with you?
Don't know. I'm broke, Anthony. Loki season 1 finished filming November or December.
Yeah.
The year before.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what was he filming as Loki? It must
Exactly.
have been. But Doctor Strange was filming at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So wasn't he?
Well, this is the. I don't know whether I don't want to go too much into it right now.
I was thinking I've got something I want to say, but we'll leave it until we get to.
It just makes me wonder, where will they go with season 2 if Loki's story continues in one of the films? Do you know what I mean?
I think it all depends on, which I think it's got to, but I also think, because I feel like we don't know when Loki season 2 is going to be yet, but I've got a few theories, but we'll talk about that at the end of when we get to the Loki review. But I think if we don't get Loki season 2 for a while, the whole multiverse story will be wrapped up over the course of the next few films. So Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and Shang-Chi.
But then would they not need to bring, like, because there's the whole cliffhanger of Mobius and B-15 not knowing who Loki was.
Well, they'd have to bring them into the Multiverse of Madness, wouldn't they? Which would be brilliant.
Yeah, but is it going to get too big for a film? Are we going to be sat there not knowing what's going on? Because there's... Well, right now, we know Wanda's going back into it.
Yeah.
And there's the story with the boys.
Yeah.
Then now we're finding out that Loki's going to be in it.
Yeah.
And if that's carrying on the story, then potentially Mobius, B-15, Renslayer, all of them characters.
Yeah.
Is it just going to be too much to tell in one film?
If we wrapped up the story, the multiverse story, in Doctor Strange and the rest of the films, I think we wouldn't hear anything more from Sylvie. I think that'd be Sylvie.
Yeah.
Her story would just get picked up in season 2 and leave her for the multiverse. And I think Renslayer as well would.
Okay.
And then I think you'd probably get a very, very small touch of B-15 and Mobius, just to sort of show what they're up to, but the actual, and then sort of dealing with the...
Because I want to know where our version are.
We've seen our version.
I know we did very briefly.
Yeah.
But then...
Well, I think they're there still. But we'll get to that. No spoilers. Last bit of news then, because I did skim past it. Marvel related kind of still. Matt Shakman, who directed Wandavision and did an excellent job of it, obviously, has signed on to direct the next Star Trek movie.
Right, okay, so that's happening.
Yeah.
As in with everyone from, like, Chris Pratt, Pine and everyone?
Not Chris Pratt, no, because Chris Pratt wasn't in.
Chris Pine.
Oh, I thought you said Chris Pratt then. No, well, Deadline had reported that it was going to be the original Kelvin crew. But the Hollywood Reporter has come out and said that it's not confirmed that it's not them, but it's not been confirmed in any way, shape, or form that it's going to be them.
Okay.
Because they were going to do Quentin Tarantino was going to write one. I know, I didn't want it either, but it wasn't going to be like Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto.
Yeah.
So the fact that we've been going through two, and a guy called Noah Hawley, don't know who he is, but I read that he was going to be.
I'm just thinking, because Gamora isn't no longer. Well, potentially no longer.
Yeah, she is. She's going to be back in Thor or Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Do you reckon?
Yes, 100%. Definitely.
Okay.
Do you not think Gamora's going to be back?
I'm just saying she'd be free for now for Star Trek.
No,
to be
she'll be back. I mean, I think she'll do Star Trek as well. If Chris Pine can fit it in from his busy schedule of Wonder Woman, then I'm sure.
Mate, he should not have been in the second one.
Shouldn't have been. No. That was just weird. I haven't even seen it. I know it was weird. I think that's us for news this week. Then, so shall we do the Loki finale?
Yeah, let's
talk about it. So Loki finale for all time, always. I know we've already talked spoilers kind of a little bit, or lots, but yeah, spoilers, heavy spoilers from this point on. Before we start, sort of like break down the episode, what did you think?
I loved it.
I loved it.
You didn't love it straight away though,
I didn't love it straight away, no, I had to think about it, but not for long. I just had to sort of like gather my thoughts for an hour.
I was like that kid who like edges towards the end of the sofa just to like get closer and closer to the TV just because I was enjoying it that much.
Yeah, I did. I kept edging towards, weirdly,
Right.
I kept like sort of edging to the end of the sofa.
Every second of it. I don't think there's one thing I could fault. I'm going to set
No,
the kiss.
I don't think
I wasn't into the kiss.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't have been into the kiss. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I think I enjoyed all of the movie, all of the episode. But it wasn't what I expected it to be.
No, it wasn't
at all. And I think I just got to I enjoyed it all the way through, and then I got to the end, and I was like, that was brilliant. But hang on, let me just sort of like gather my thoughts. Was that because it wasn't what I expected in any way, shape, or form? Even the end. I mean, I thought we'd get the multiverse at the end, but it wasn't done how I'd expected. So, but I still felt like I just needed to sort of wrap my head around what was going on and what happened. But you know, I've watched it another time now as well, and I enjoyed it from start to finish. I think it was a fantastic episode. It was a bit, kind of felt like a bit like a really, I think I said this to you, like a really long post-credit scene, the episode. It felt like episode 4 and 5 kind of wrapped up their Loki and Sylvie's story. Kind of did, didn't it? And then this was all sort of like just like filling in the gaps to what's coming next. So it did feel a bit post-credit-ish, but still really good. Still really good. Slower, but it was really good. Lots of dialogue, which made it quite hard to write points for the episode. I was sat there thinking, I'm going to write this. He says this, she says this, he says this. But I think I've kind of got it. So let's start breaking down the episode. So as usual, we'll sort of break down each little bit as it goes, and then we'll talk about it in a bit more detail. So the finale starts with us traveling through the sacred timeline as we hear some iconic moments.
Which again was so good. Hang on, before we even do that.
Go on.
The credits at the beginning.
Rewind. That's what I'm talking about now.
Oh. You said through the timeline?
Yeah, well, it's the same sort of thing. If you listen, Anthony.
No, I thought you were talking about the actual timeline. Okay. I'm talking about all the quotes from all the films.
I know, yeah. I'm going to talk about that as well.
Okay.
Should I go? What I need to start doing is going through my notes with Anthony before we record. Prep is key. Anyway, start again. The finale starts with us travelling through the sacred timeline as we hear some iconic moments from the MCU before arriving at the castle we saw in last week's episode. As Loki and Sylvie are about to enter the door, it opens up to reveal Miss Minutes. She tells them that this is the end of time, and offers them on behalf of He Who Remains. The pair refuse and make their way to confront the real villain. So the opening, it was sort of all the way through from the opening credits. The opening credits just gave me chills.
I know.
Straight away.
I was like, oh then.
It was as soon. I know, yeah. Do you know what? It was literally instantly recognisable, the song from the end of Endgame, which is called It's Been a Long, Long Time. Yeah. And I think it was in Cap 1 as well, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of Cap and Peggy's song, innit?
Just brilliant. Amazing. Yeah. Just instantly I was like, this is going to be fantastic. All the way through. And then as soon as we started getting all the other little moments that you heard. I just loved it because to me, this was it, like them saying, this is the end of that timeline in a way. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way, but I like that. So I was kind of like, okay, this is now the new phase. I know that the new phase has technically already started. Yeah. But this is the Kickstarter now. And that's the way I saw it when it kind of, because they were going, here it was. Yeah. It's done. Yes. We're now on to what's coming. Yeah. And I was like, ooh. And I'm getting goosebumps just telling you again. Ooh. Ooh. It was just, even the way that it's like they did it over that intro. So it's like you're hearing all these people as you're seeing all these people sort of flashing up on the screen on the intro. And like the one that stood out to me, as I said, it was Cap and Peggy's music. Chadwick Boseman saying Wakanda Forever was just like, that was like, horrible but brilliant. And then I heard I couldn't do this all day. It was the fact that we then heard I know. And I was like, brilliant. And then we got stuff that wasn't Marvel related as we started going through the timeline. Yeah. Like bits of like classical music, One Small Step for Man, One Giant Leap for Mankind was in there. Kylie Minogue, I Should Be So Lucky, was in there, I think. Or maybe it was a different one. Just the one that stood out to me. I was just like, why have we got Kylie Minogue in here? And then, they end up at the castle. Can I just say that when we see the castle sort of appear for the first time and them stood outside, how good did that look? Yeah, that looked amazing. For a TV show, that level of detail was just phenomenal. The budget must be huge on this because they have just, there's clearly no like, oh, well, this is a TV show, so we'll dial it back a little bit. Yeah, no, it's just like full on. This is like 100% MCU. But I also think that might be why they did 6 episodes instead of pulling out longer. Maybe
I think they've shortened the episodes to biggen the budget.
Potentially. It was quite funny though, because I've watched this obviously a couple of times yesterday, and I think it was yesterday or maybe it was the day before, a trailer or a clip from the new series of The Flash popped up on like comicbook.com or YouTube. It looks shit.
Oh no.
It looks like it's so bad. The CG is garbage, and it just made me look at that and then look at this and wonder why why DC's not quite coping, and then this is like knocking it out of the park. It's just like completely different. So when they get into the castle Citadel, did it make you jump?
Which
Miss Minutes.
It didn't make me jump. However, right.
It didn't me either. But everyone's going on Twitter going, "Oh, it's like a proper jump scare," and I kind of get why it would. But
no, I didn't get that.
I normally jump at this sort of stuff,
normally jump
and it
at stuff
didn't
like
get
that.
me at all.
No.
And I didn't expect it, but I just didn't get that vibe off it.
Tara Strong did a TikTok
before
the latest episode came out, and I was like, "Oh, why is she like jumping on the bandwagon? Is Miss Minutes in this one?" And then she turned up, and I was like, "Oh, you know more things than you've been letting on."
Oh, when she turned up?
Yeah. And I was like, "Is Miss Minutes naughty?"
Yeah, she is. She's definitely. Don't really want to say Miss Minutes is naughty because it sounds weird, but there's definitely more going on, and we'll obviously find out. Or you'd think you'd find out more, but. At first, I was sort of like, is she just not omnipotent, but is she just like a computer program who can sort of be anywhere at once? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like replicate herself? But she can't, because when she leaves the castle and goes to see Ravonna, Renslayer, she says, "I was just doing something else." So she's a being. She's an individual being rather than just a computer program. Because if she wasn't, she'd be doing both things at the same time, or you'd think anyway. Yeah. So there's got to be more to her than what they're sort of like cracking on. And the fact that they've asked questions like, what is she? Are you real? Are you aware? Or are you just a computer program? And she's like, I'm a bit of both. Yeah. Makes me think that she was maybe real, and they've like uploaded her consciousness to this. And that's what she is. But yeah, hopefully we'll find out. The fact that we're getting a season 2, we'll find more out.
What if Miss Minutes is an agent of Ultron?
Where? What?
Because Ultron went off into the ether, but they were like, he's not gone.
No. Yeah.
So he's still around.
So you think Miss Minutes is Ultron? You heard it here first.
Well, I don't think she is Ultron, but
you're normally really good with your theories on me. This one's not one of them. It's not.
But what if?
It'd be brilliant, but it's not.
All right.
That'll be the one that that'll be the one that happens.
That'll be really shit one. That's like really out there.
And everyone will go, oh. That's the one, Isaiah with the shield, not Miss Minutes being Ultron. Never skip that one. The deal then. So she offered them this deal, didn't she?
Yeah.
And it was Loki can win the Battle of New York, beat Thanos, get the Infinity Gauntlet. And I think she said to Sylvie, you can sort of be with him and be happy, have happy memories. So we'll basically wipe your memories clean. Did you think, and they can be together as well. Yeah. Did you think he'd be tempted? Or were you fully believing in this Loki at that stage that he wouldn't?
Neither. I don't think he believed it.
Yeah, okay, I get it, yeah.
So I don't think he was tempted because I don't think he trusted it.
Do you think if he thought it had been genuine then? Next question. Do you think if he thought it had been genuine, he would have been tempted?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
I see. I feel like I'm fully bought into him now, especially with like later on in the episode.
Not for the Thanos and all of that kind of stuff. For being able to be in the same universe as Sylvie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry, that's kind of.
I get what you mean. Yeah, so you don't think he would have been tempted by the I'm going to be the ruler of everything.
No, I don't.
It's more
I don't think he
by the ability to be with her. Yeah, okay, I get that, and that's a bit more noble, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's because he's been kind of leading up to this moment of, well, when this all ends, me and Sylvie can't be in the same place because we are variants of ourselves. Yeah, but it's just been kind of thrown at us so many times about you're always meant to be alone, like, and all that kind of stuff. With Sylvie, he is.
He's still alone.
And he isn't.
Yeah, because it's still him.
Like, like some sort of like weird prophecy thing where it's technically true, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I thought it was kind of like that, and I think that's where it was going.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, yeah. I didn't even think of it that way. The thing that stood out to me was, will he take like the Infinity Gauntlet, basically? But yeah, I didn't think he'd do that. But yeah, maybe if it was a bit more of a noble reason, he'd go for it. Back at the TVA, Miss Minutes gives Ravonna some files that I'm doing speech marks, that he thinks she may find useful. We jump back to the castle where Loki and Sylvie find themselves in a room full of statues, 3 of the timekeepers and a 4th one that's destroyed. Eventually, they come face to face with He Who Remains, who invites them to his office. On the way, in the lift, Sylvie tries to kill him, but he dodges her attacks using his temp pad. Right, let's talk about Ravonna first.
Okay.
What do you think? If it's him who's giving these things to Ravonna, and it's not Miss Minute because she's just like a triple agent, what do you think he's getting her to do? Because it seemed like the whole, well, I know we're skipping ahead a bit, but the whole plan was, according to him, and I believed him, the whole plan was to get Sylvie and Loki to sort of rule the TVA, and that's it. And I suppose you could say that Ravonna was maybe a bit of a backup plan if they said no, but I suppose that wouldn't even work. But why would he then have given Ravonna a side mission if the whole plan was to have Sylvie and Loki take over? I mean, what do you think the mission could be? And do you think it was him who gave it to her, or do you think it was Miss Minutes being Ultron?
I don't know, is my honest answer.
There's too much going on.
Yeah, and I don't think we've had enough from Renslayer to even be guided into what that side mission might be. Yeah. Because we've never seen her leave the TVA.
Yeah. I think she must be in the position that she's in because...
But she doesn't know who he is either.
No,
still.
I know.
And that's the other thing. So it can't be like a mission to find another version of... like another variant of him that is as good as him. Do you know what I mean?
No, but you don't know what the files say. The files could have detailed everything. The files that she gave him
could have
been a full breakdown. I think she's in charge because at the end of the day, he's planned the whole TVA. He's planned out every step, which he says a bit in a bit of time, but we'll get there in a second. But she as well, and I'm skipping ahead a bit, she's got this just like completely unquestionable faith.
It's just a blind faith,
in him. She doesn't know who he is, even though she thought it was the 3 timekeepers, which I'm convinced she thought it was the three timekeepers.
Yeah, I am now.
She now knows that it's not, and it's somebody else, and they were fake. But she's still got full faith in the mission
and the reason behind
and
it.
Him. Yeah, and she's got no idea what the point is in it. Yeah, she doesn't know. I know obviously her job is to maintain the timeline.
And to a degree, at this point, she's right.
Yeah, I get. Yeah,
and that's the weird thing, because we've made it like she's been made out all the way through to be this horrendous person.
Yeah, but she is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe he's given her the mission of even that, still in the hopes that Sylvie and Loki would do what he thought was right and sort of maintain the timeline, but maybe to go and keep an eye on the other Kangs and sort of not report back, but.
Do you think?
I don't know. I just think it must be something.
Unless her side mission is to look out for the worst one.
Yeah. There's got to be one. I mean, I know there's loads of bad ones. He's putting it across, but there's got to be one big bad who I think will probably end up being the big bad for what MCU Phase 4.
Well, from what I've seen, apparently the big bad one is going to be the one in Ant-Man.
Oh, I see. I don't think that. I think the Ant-Man one is going to be another variant. And maybe this is the way they need to go with it, but I don't feel that Ant-Man is a big enough film / property.
That's what I thought
to
as well.
bring in the big bad.
That's what
for
I
the
thought.
phase. I don't think it is. But then I suppose you wouldn't have thought Thor was. And I know it didn't bring in the big bad, but Ragnarok's ended up being a huge film. Yeah. And it's sort of set, as we said a few times, set the tone for the MCU. Yeah. And I would consider it to be one of the biggest MCU films going. But I suppose if you, after just seeing Thor 1 and 2, if you said Thor 3 is going to be massive and it's going to introduce huge things, you'd have been like, oh, same reaction that we're having to Ant-Man. Yeah. And maybe it's just a way of, I don't know, I think possibly it could just be a way of sort of
subverting our expectations.
Yeah, but I think it's a risk as well, because I don't think everybody who's into the MCU watches every MCU film. Yeah. And I think if you're gonna skip a film, particularly if you've seen Ant-Man 1 and 2, you'd skip Ant-Man 3. I wouldn't.
Who didn't love the giant Thomas the Tank Engine?
It was good. I like them, but they're not. Then I just don't. I feel like it's a big gamble on Marvel's part.
No, I know.
To introduce.
But I don't. I think no. Like if you are watching the other stuff, so if you're watching things like Loki and you know it's coming,
yeah,
I think you'll.
All you'd need is to be told he's going to be in.
I think what you're saying, I think they're having the opposite thing, and they're going, Ant-Man 1 and 2 has been kind of criticised as not particularly good ones. So what if we tease him in everything and say he's going to be the big bad in this one to get people to watch it?
Yeah, potentially.
So it might be like that whole flip.
Yeah. See, I feel like we're going to get... I mean... I'm calling. We're calling him Kang. I'm not even convinced in Loki, Jonathan Majors is Kang. I mean, I don't know. I know a bit about Kang, but I don't know huge amounts. But
yeah,
Kang is his like evil villain name. He is Nathaniel Richards, and the way I've read this is that
this is Dr. Richards.
That's Nathaniel Richards that we've seen in Loki, and the big bad one is going to be Kang. And I know they're all Kang, but that's how they're going to do it. And I feel like Ant-Man 3 is going to give us another variant.
But then didn't he say that he fought a lot of variants of himself and he was the one that won and got there?
Yeah, because he sort of harnessed the power of Goliath.
Yeah.
I think we'll end up with a variant in Ant-Man.
Do you?
Yeah, that's what I think. Rather than the big bad.
I think.
Yeah, go on.
That we'll get 2.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think we'll get 2 versions, and I think we'll have the variant one in the episode.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, Ant-Man and the Wasp do not defeat him. The big bad one does at the very end, and that's all we see of him.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Because he's getting rid of all the other variants.
Yeah.
Because they were the ones that stopped him last time.
So
in the last multiverse.
So that the villain of Ant-Man 3 is going to be Kang. But it's not going to be the Kang.
Yeah.
It's going to be
this guy is going to turn up and crush him.
Yeah, but they could push him as being like, wow, this is big and scary, and then it's like you ain't seen nothing yet.
In a second, he's gone.
End. Yeah,
by another Kang.
I like that. That'd be brilliant. Looking at the statues, then, what do you think's going on with the fourth? Why are the 4 statues? Because there were still statues of the 3 timekeepers in there, and then the 4th one. Do you reckon that the time? I don't know. I was thinking maybe there were, rather than just being one Kang running the TVA, maybe there were numerous ones, and he's sort of killed the other 3, and he's sort of upset with himself because he says he's a villain. Yeah. Maybe he's destroyed his statue because he can't bear to look at himself.
Maybe.
And there were originals, so that the timekeepers are based off alternate versions of Kang.
Yeah.
It's got to be something. There's got to be something more to that. I like the statue at the end of Kang as well.
Yes.
Let's talk about. As we've just said, he's not Kang. He's Nathaniel Richards or whatever you want to call him. Jonathan Majors in the show. Not at all what I expected.
No,
I've not seen him in anything. I've seen his photo, but I've not seen him in anything. Nothing like I expected him to be. No. I was expecting him to be like big, scary, bad guy.
Yeah, and he wasn't.
He wasn't. But he had like a what's Jesse Eisenberg in Social Network kind of vibe. Not Lex Luthor because that wasn't good, but a bit of like a big tech boss sort of thing, of vibe to him, like a bit of a geek.
It's like a jovial, geeky creep, but
gone mental. Because he's been on his own for millions of years, probably sat in that castle on his own. But his performance was brilliant. I can't really remember. Oh, I can from watching it again because I'm more focused on it. But because of how sort of overpowering his performance was, you hardly even noticed Sylvie and Loki. And I know he had most of the lines in the episode, but I can't. Apart from the very little end, the little fight that they had at the end, there was no. It wasn't them. It was all about him, and he just, for somebody we've never met before, from an actor who I've never seen in anything before, the fact that he just grabbed the attention of the whole thing, and it was just like, this guy's going to be amazing with whatever he does now going forward in the MCU. It got me, especially considering we were like, I don't want Kang. I really hope it's not Kang. Yeah, I want it to be Mephisto, but I think
it was because he got introduced in a very unexpected way, and that's it's made me dead inquisitive. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You want to know more about Kang and what's going to happen with it? But it'd be good. I think,
and I love that he's kind of, I wouldn't go as far as saying scary, but he's creepy all the way through because of the. It's almost like a clown.
Yes.
It's the overly smiley, in your face, but has got power behind him.
There's something sinister behind the smiling face.
Yeah, and that's what creeps me out about it. The way he was eating the apple. Like,
what was that all about?
I don't know. I think that's...
I questioned that.
I think that's going to be his thing. And I think...
Like Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11.
No, what I mean is, like, any variant that we see, I reckon there'll be like an apple thing with it. Just to link them.
Yeah. It was brilliant though.
If
just
that
like
makes sense.
The way it's like his mannerisms all the way through were like really good as well.
But what I liked was how, although he was trying to be powerful, essentially how openly scared he was about other versions of himself.
Yeah.
Because that then makes you think, well, if he's this mental, how bad are the others?
Exactly.
And that's what made me go, ooh.
Ooh.
And is this like, because I'm going to bring this into it, the Eternals?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know.
Because it's starting to make sense now. If Kang the Conqueror is as bad as it's being made out.
Yeah, but are we going to end up with...
and the multiverse has
different
started.
variants of the... It's too complicated, this now. Two different variants of the Eternals?
I don't know.
Where's it going to go?
I know. I have no idea.
Exciting times, though.
I know.
Exciting times. So we jump back to the TVA again, where Ravonna is packing her things for what looks like a mission. She's confronted by Mobius and they argue before she calls for backup, but it never comes. Meanwhile, B-15 has led the Minutemen to Franklin D. Roosevelt School in 2018. She shows them the sacred timeline version of Ravonna to prove that they're all variants. Back at the TVA, Ravonna overpowers Mobius and heads off through a time door in search of free will.
So that's why that she had the Franklin D. Roosevelt pen?
So even though she didn't know the timekeepers weren't real, she must have known that they were all variants.
Well, yeah, she did because she...
Oh, yeah, because she killed C-20.
Yeah,
so she knew.
So did she go back and visit herself just to see it for her own?
Yeah.
And that's why she took the pen. And that's why she's got it.
Yeah, she must have. She must have taken it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on with this character that we don't know at all. I feel like in season 2 we're gonna have to get a Ravonna episode. I'm surprised we haven't had a Verona. I'm surprised we haven't had a Ravonna episode already. But I suppose it is only 6 episodes. I got there in the end. When we saw Sacred Timeline Ravonna as well, it still threw me a little bit. I was still shocked, even though we saw that it was the school. I was still like, oh my god, we're actually going to see this character. And then you shouldn't really do anything. I thought they'd do more.
Yeah, I thought they'd do a bit more with it,
rather than just, oh, that's it. There she is. There's your proof, sort of thing. How made up were you when Mobius rocked up in the office with the pruning stick? Yeah, it's just like, he's back. He's back. He had no idea he was going to come back. Like a proper entrance, wasn't it? Yeah. And then he kind of didn't do anything. He
was shit.
He was a bit crap.
He got kicked to the ground again. And it was like, oh, Mobius.
I know. How could we just point out, and I know we're getting to season 2, so there is time. Where was the jet ski?
I know.
I didn't see Mobius on a jet ski.
I know.
They could have just shown me a variant on a computer. Just literally a little screen in the background with Owen Wilson on a jet ski. I would have been happy with that. But
I know. Well, I thought Mobius might have visited himself, and it was going to be...
It's got to happen.
Sacred Timeline Mobius on a jet ski selling them like on a beach resort or something like that.
Yeah.
Because that would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been good, yeah. Yeah, it's going to happen. He's got to end up with a happy ending at the end. You'd think.
He's got to.
Although it could just be really dark and they could just kill him off, I suppose. Yeah. Right, so moving forward. Back at the castle then, He Who Remains explains that he knows everything that's going to happen and that their escape was all part of his plan, which again gave me chills when he said that. Wasn't expecting that. He tells them that he's from the 31st century where he discovered the multiverse. To end and prevent another multiversal war, he created the TVA to manage one sacred timeline. So there's a lot to talk about here because there's a lot of dialogue. This is just this is the explanation of what's going on. Yeah. The first thing I sort of picked out though was his comment to Loki. He points at Sylvie and says like, you've been on such an epic mission or something along those lines. Yeah. And then he points to Loki and he says, you're just a flea on the back of a dragon. Yeah. To Loki. And it wasn't a dig, but it was kind of re-emphasizing it's not all about Loki this. And I know Sylvie is Loki, but this is all Sylvie's journey. Yeah. And Loki is literally just there to motivate her.
Yeah. It's just sad that it's another moment that Loki's just being told that he's like nothing. Yeah. Again, it's like We've had it from Mobius. You know, we've had it constantly throughout the series.
Yeah.
And then Kang is saying it. Well, whoever he is, Dr. Richards, is saying it, but not in a vicious way. It's just very matter of fact.
Yeah.
In the timeline, your role in this is so minute.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's what it goes back to what he said at the start, doesn't it? So his role is to get people around him to achieve their full potential. Yeah. And he's just there to.
And that's all he's doing again.
Things up. Because
essentially,
he's there to motivate her.
He's put Sylvia at her full potential.
He has, yeah. But that makes me question again. If that is the purpose of a Loki, is she a Loki? Mm-hmm. Or is it just that variant potential? But the way that Mobius was saying it, it's like, it doesn't matter what variant of Loki you are, your purpose in any timeline or branch you're in is to cock things up and basically make other people better themselves. Yeah. And that's what, again, it's what he's done with Sylvie, but it makes me wonder.
But then, is that why Sylvie was taken at such an early stage? Was she taken for the fact that she wasn't the same as the other Lokis? Because we didn't know what she did wrong. We were never told that.
And maybe he thought because she's a good Loki, she'll do the right thing. Yeah. But surely the evil Loki would be the one who'd be the benevolent. I got there. It was quick recovery. Surely the bad Lokis would be the ones who would be the benevolent rulers of the TVA.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I don't think it was about her being good. I think it was about the fact that she essentially wasn't a fuck up. Yeah, like that's the whole idea, is that Lokis make everyone else around them look good. Yeah. But I think
she was already there.
She was already there to make herself look good.
She was the one who needed the help to get up rather than to be the helper.
And that was the reason she was taken, not because she did anything, but because of who she was.
Yeah. So the other thing as well was when I know we've already mentioned it, when he revealed that this was all planned, even the bit outside of the timeline. Yeah. I've already said, I was like, oh shit. Yeah. This has all been part of his plan. Yeah. And it completely changes the narrative, doesn't it? Because it's like, there isn't this thing with individual time, with the one timeline and the TVA. And
you're outside of it and all that kind of stuff.
The TVA must, and it kind of gets proved at the end of the episode, but the TVA exists inside that timeline. Yeah. So when we then get other timelines, I'm getting there. When we get all this wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff, when we get other timelines, there's a TVA inside
every timeline.
Every timeline. Yeah. But that's crazy. That's like too many. That's like too many. That means there's all these variants in each individual timeline.
That's why I think that although we're talking about this one sacred timeline, I think there's not been the one sacred timeline. I think there's just been a barrier to stop them from crossing over to one another. And I think that's what the branches are.
I think there's more to the multiverse than we think. And I don't know whether it was sort of like just Marvel not explaining things well, like, because they didn't do it particularly well with the time travel in Endgame. But the way that we've known the way that the multiverse and the sacred timeline work is that it's one timeline and then branches come off the timeline to create slightly different stories, etc. Which then end up going on their own ways. Yeah. When he described it, he said that the first Kang who discovered it in the 31st century discovered that there were alternate universes stacked on top of each other, not branching out from his.
No. So that's what I'm saying about there being a number of sacred timelines.
So
but
as
these
well
branches can then connect the ones that are separate and should always be separate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Yeah,
and I think that's how the multiverse happens. If they're all stacked on
the
top of each
variants
other.
aren't multiverse. The stacked timelines of the multiverse. Yes, and then they're connected through the branches. Yeah, it's so complicated.
It is complicated.
So when you start trying to throw Eternals into this as well, it's just like my head's gonna fall off. Yeah, I can't cope with it. But it was already complicated as it was, not in a bad way, but they've just completely changed the game with that with the end of it, which is great. I thought as well though the way that when they showed his backstory with that little
that was so clever,
such a clever way of doing it. Yeah. I sat there thinking, who just thinks that's how we're going to explain it? We're going to get this little thing and it's going to make little models and sort of it's just dead clever way of doing it. Really, really different way of doing it as well. the way he said, like, I've been dubbed lots of little things, a ruler, a leader, a conqueror.
And I was like,
there's a little Kang nod. And he's right as well, because he says he is a villain.
Yeah.
But he's not a villain.
Yeah.
He's doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And that's why he's going to be an excellent villain.
Yeah.
Because it's like Thanos. You completely get why. There's complete logic to what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like Thanos, and there is with this guy.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to make a cracking villain.
That's
and
what
that's
I
why he's
loved
going to
about
be
it
the big
straight away.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense. It's not just, I'm Kang the Conqueror, I want to kill everybody. It's like it makes sense. And I would imagine that even though he seems to be doing it for a genuine reason, the big bad Kang is going to be sort of taking it to an extreme.
Yeah.
And sort of like, I just want to kill everybody. But I suppose they do with the Void anyway, don't they? They are killing these variants.
Yeah.
But he wants to...
But I'm thinking, does he want to destroy the other stacks?
Yeah.
So if you've got
the bad
stack,
one or this one?
Say you've got the bad one.
Yeah.
So, and that's what you mean by kind of more kind of extreme.
Yeah.
So this version is just killing off any variant that does kind of move away from the sacred timeline. But he's going, well, I want my sacred timeline to be the only one.
Yeah.
I need to destroy all of these variant universes.
Yeah. To
make sure that mine's the only one in the future.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, but I wonder whether I think Kang, and again, I don't know a great deal about him from the comics. I know bits and pieces. I've done a little bit of research, but I'm wondering whether, rather than, I think he kind of went down that route when he was explaining it. This version, let's call this one Nathaniel Richards. He wants to. I suppose it's worse in some ways in that he's destroying these other timelines so that we don't have this multiversal war.
Yeah.
I wonder whether Kang, the evil villain Kang, will he even want to destroy them, or does he just want to rule them all? And it's like, I don't give a shit how much of a mess things get.
Yeah.
I want to rule. I don't just want to rule my universe. I want to rule all your universes. And maybe. If it's havoc, it's havoc. But I'm the boss.
That would be big enough for Eternals to need to turn up.
Yeah, but then there's going to be alternate versions of the Eternals. Unless they're so powerful that they live outside of this.
Like Timekeepers.
They're more powerful than Timekeepers.
Yeah. No, I know.
Live, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. No, I don't know that they are. I'm saying, are they? Is that it? Are they at such a higher level that they can jump and they can see and be aware of all these different timelines? Yeah. And they are now stepping in because it's coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so complicated.
It is.
Anyway, let's move on to a bit further then. So, He Who Remains gives Loki and Sylvie two options: kill him and let the multiverse happen, causing havoc again, or take his place and run the TVA. Before they can decide, a Nexus event happens and he can no longer see what is going to happen in the future. The timeline starts branching and Sylvie tries to kill him, but Loki stops her. Loki thinks they need to consider both options. Sylvie loses trust in Loki and after a short fight sends him back to the TVA with a temp pad before killing He Who Remains. Branches appear on branches on top of other branches and the multiverse is born. So again, a lot went on here. Little thing that he said, and I don't know whether it was just a nod or whether it was random. He said, when this all kicks off, you won't just have one devil, but you've got an infinite amount of devils.
Yeah.
And they know what they're doing. He said devil.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing. Maybe Mephisto's just going to end up in a Kang variant.
Maybe.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? Kind of like a bit of a payoff, but
well, there's been talks about Mobius.
What, being Mephisto?
What does the M stand for in the middle of his name? Mobius M. Mobius.
Mobius, Mephisto, Mobius.
People have been saying maybe it is.
Maybe. I think he was from the comics.
Maybe he's not aware that his person on Earth is Mephisto.
Is Mephisto. He could be like the good version, and Mephisto's just sitting there in his crib with all jet skis all over him on fire.
Jet skiing on lava.
Like a fire. That's what I want to see now. That moment though when he crossed the threshold, I think that's what he says. He crossed the threshold. So, he looked so scared.
I know,
but excited at the same time. It's weird.
But if you think about it, if he's been around for millions of years and he's sat there with stacks of paper going, I know everything that's going to be said in this conversation. I know that everything that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And this point now, for the first time in millions of years, he doesn't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Like, we are in a world where we don't know what's going to happen next, and we're used to it. So it's kind of like just what we deal with day to day. He spent millions of years knowing, and now suddenly everything that he knows has just stopped
Yeah.
in that split second. So yeah, there's like a fear, but the excitement as well. And it brings me back to that kind of sinister clown kind of thing. Yeah. It just has that feel to me, and I kind of love it. But you said like it being a Nexus event that did that. What? I don't get what the Nexus event was.
It's just the fact that it's branched off, because it's like when you think about it and the way he explains it as well, it's a loop, and it's like he says to Sylvie later on, if you kill me, we're just going to go round again and I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
So because I know what happens and I know this loop, and it's like a major Nexus. Well, it's a Nexus event in the fact that I've written it down in the sense that Nexus events are happening and branches were starting to come off the timeline that we didn't perceive happening. But thinking about it, it's just from what you've said, it kind of is a Nexus event, because if this timeline must have been going round loads and loads and loads and loads of times, because you could see the sacred timeline just going round the castle, for him to now get to the point where he doesn't know what's coming, he must have lived this out numerous times before. Yeah. Because and that's why he knew what was going to happen rather than it just being planned. Yeah. But the fact that he now doesn't know what's happening must in itself be a Nexus event, because it's taking it away from what he was already aware of happening. So it's like a Nexus event outside of the timeline sort of thing. It's so complicated, but I love it at the same time. I get the impression that we're never going to have just a full explanation. It's going to take like books and books and books to explain how this works, but I like it because it just got us guessing.
And I'm going to throw it out there though. When they did the time travel in Endgame, it was called the Mobius.
Yeah, but
loop.
I believe a Mobius strip is an actual thing in real life.
Oh, is it?
I might be completely wrong. And I get the impression that a Mobius strip is just literally a shape, and it's based around time, and that's why they've called the character Mobius and Mobius.
So you don't think there's more to that then, if that's the case?
No, I might be completely wrong. I should have researched this, but I didn't, because I didn't know we were going to talk about it. But
no, it's okay. It just popped into my head, and it just
maybe
for
there
it
is,
to be called a Mobius strip,
yeah.
and then Mobius not be that important to something.
But then you think Marvel plan ahead, and it's like, would they have pointed out, even if a Mobius strip is a real life shape, or for based on like the way that time might work or whatever,
like a scientific process or something, yeah.
And they've called him that off the back of that. Would they in Endgame have made a point of calling it a Mobius strip, or would they have thought, well, we're not going to do that because it's going to confuse people further down the line when we know we're going to have this character called Mobius and Mobius in the show because he's in the comics? There either is a lot to it, or Marvel are just sitting there thinking that's going to get him talking.
Maybe
that's gonna get him asking questions, and is this linked and is that? Because at the end of the day, it is, because it's all about time. It's all about time, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Let's talk about Sylvie then in this because this is the first time Sylvie and Loki have actually had anything big to do in the episode. It's been really heavily focused on the TVA and obviously Kang. I know she's obviously seen to be the good one, but this is the moment where she's not the good one. It's like she knows what she's going to do is the wrong way of doing it, and she needs to kind of be bad to be good, but she's just completely overcome with revenge here, isn't she? Yeah.
Can we just talk about the epic line in this section as well?
Which one?
You can't trust and I can't be trusted.
Yeah, I like that.
That was just, I was like, you're two sides of the same coin, and I just love that it's kind of like, this is the part where you're clashing because you're both Lokis. Yeah. And I just loved that, that line. It was so good. Here.
The whole series so far, and we've said this in previous podcasts, is like they're not, and he says it like it takes, the person I was looking for came in two. Yeah. He says to sort of fix this. Yeah. And it's like all the way through, they've needed to fit together to make. Yeah, to basically
they can't achieve anything alone. They've had to work together.
So it's like the two magnets getting drawn towards each other. Yeah. But then at the same time, on the opposite sides of those magnets, they can't fit together. Yeah. And you can't get them together because they're so alike and they fit together. But then there's something, and it is, you can't trust and I can't be trusted. Yeah. Very deep, that, isn't it?
I know. I love it. I think it's dead clever the way they've done it, and that whole fight scene between them.
Yeah, and Loki was just like. He's the only one who was thinking straight, but also he was not on the attack at all.
No.
She was.
Yeah.
She was quite willing. I don't think she wanted to. I was going to say she was happy to. I don't think she's happy to do it, but
she
she
spent
was
her
willing.
entire life getting to this point, and
but she knows it's wrong. She knows what she should be doing. I think she knows what Loki's saying is right.
Yeah.
But she just doesn't trust that he's not doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But even whether he's doing it for the wrong reasons or not, she's not stupid. She knows that the right thing to do here is to sort of let the TVA carry on going, because otherwise everybody in all timelines could end up getting killed.
Yeah.
And she's not only is she willing to kill Kang and potentially billions of other people to get revenge, but this guy who she has fallen in love with, she's willing to kill him to get her revenge. Yeah. So she's the one who's in the wrong here completely, because Loki, every move he made was defensive.
But again, and I like this, you can also understand why. Because she was taken away as an 8-year-old kid, and then has had to fend for herself her entire life, and she found out it's for something that technically has nothing to do with her or what she physically did. No. She still to this point doesn't feel like she did anything wrong. Yeah. The way she sees it is that these people just came and took a child away without a second thought, and her whole life has been miserable off the back of that. Yeah. Because she's just been running for her life the whole time.
But she can't be a hero off the back of that though, can she? No. Because she's not doing... If that was Steve Rogers, he'd have gone, right, that's fine. I need to do it. As much as bad as the situation could be. Yeah. I'd have just...
If I suffer to save millions of lives, then I'll do it.
Exactly. Yeah. She's not willing to, which again, we keep jumping back and forth.
It's a Loki.
She's a Loki. It's a Loki trait. And we've talked about the fight. The bit... Obviously, we get the kiss. We get the kiss at the end, which I'm sure...
It was weird. Knowing who that... Like, it's weird.
Yeah. But before the kiss...
It's like catching someone kissing the mirror in their room. Do you know what I mean?
It's weirder than that.
It's not okay.
It's weirder than that. It was weird. Yeah. But the bit before, probably, like, I don't know, just the way he said it, he says, I just want you to be okay to her. And that got me, because it's
now, that kind of pulls the strings a little bit, because that's like a caring thing. Like, to me, that can be a platonic love, like a family member or something like that, like a sibling. Yeah. But then it's just the sexualizing of it. Yeah. Like I just
I do.
That's the bit I'm not the fan of.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But I also think, going away from how weird the kiss was, like Loki and the fact how he's sort of saying that, whether it's platonic or whether it's romantic. Yeah. And I think it was going down the romantic route. But,
100%.
And I know we've said before, but that's now full 100% good. Yeah. Loki. And not that necessarily just because he'd do anything for Sylvie, but as we see it, like, it's not just Sylvie. He's willing to sort of sacrifice himself to save for the greater good, really, isn't he? And I'm quite excited to see a good, 100% good Loki. Yeah. And it's kind of a shame because we're going to lose that little bit of that little edge to him. I'm not convinced we'll ever.
I don't think we'll lose it. I don't think we will completely.
I still found myself doubting it all the way through. Yeah. Like when he was saying, I think we should think about what he's saying. Yeah. I was a bit like,
we should just take a minute. What are you doing?
When
has he ever taken a minute?
What are you doing this for? Is there a bit here that wants to rule the TVA? But then I don't think there is. As soon as I actually think about it and actually consider it, it's like, no, he's good. But there's still, no matter what they do with this character, your instant reaction is going to be, oh, is he seeing an opportunity? And then as soon as you assess it in your head, you'll be like, no, it's not. He's good.
But that's exactly how she sees him.
Exactly.
And it's brilliant because, that is how we look at him as well. Yeah. And she's still saying, but you want this? You actually want this, don't you? Yeah. And it's all that. I just love how much it messes with your head. Yeah, it's clever. It is.
Gets you thinking, doesn't it? And then we've already talked about it. So obviously we've said she pushes him through the time door and sends him to the TVA. Yeah. She kills Kang. He says, as we've said, I'll see you soon, which just proves it's
loved it.
He's coming back.
I loved that was his last thing before he died.
Killed him.
I'll see you soon.
He's coming back.
And he even did a little wink or something, didn't he, as well?
Yeah.
And I was
that's why he's not worried.
Oh.
He's not worried at all. No. And then
But he'd said he'd lived a long, long time. And so I think he's at the point
he's
now
ready for death.
I'm fed up.
Yeah. But again, knowing the fact that he's not really dead, he's going to be back, and he'll probably know everything that's happened this time. Yeah. He's going to carry on going round and round in a loop. The moment when you saw all the timelines branching, though, outside,
it looked like a nervous system.
It did,
and I just loved the way it was done. I just thought it was aesthetically beautiful.
All those timelines.
Yeah.
All those alternate realities.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I just loved it.
Everything is now canon in the MCU.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, Japanese Spider-Man with the giant robot. It's all canon. It's got to be. Just the possibilities for what
they're endless now, aren't they?
Could come is brilliant. And I also wonder when, at that moment, when all the timelines start branching and they all become a reality, is that the moment when Wanda heard the kids?
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's happened.
Yeah.
They're alive. They exist in another reality where they didn't die, or whether they were real in the first place.
Yeah.
So is that? It's got, obviously we know it ties in. Moving on to the last scene then. So at the TVA, Mobius and B-15 watch the timeline branch and acknowledge that there's no turning back now. Loki arrives and tries to explain what's happened, but they don't know what he's talking about. They don't know him. As Loki looks out over this alternate TVA, he sees a statue, but rather than one of the timekeepers, it's Kang the Conqueror, who is going to be the best bad guy we've seen in a long time. My heart sank and I felt sick when they said,
expect that bit.
Who are you? No, I didn't see it coming at all.
No,
and when you watch it back, it's kind of obvious. But
yeah.
When he said, "What are you?" It wasn't even the "What are you talking about?" It was the "Who are you?" I just went like, ugh. I was like, "Oh my god!" Didn't see it coming at all. It just made me like it proper like hit me like a ton of bricks.
I was because I watched it like 8 o'clock in the morning before work. And it was like 5 to 9, so I was just about to like leg it round to the other room to turn the laptop on for work, and I just went no. Dead loud, and I was like, people are still in bed.
But right now, again going back to it, and I don't know whether how you read it when you watched the episode, but when we cut from like this whole scene, so we cut to Mobius and B-15 sort of standing there and watching all the timelines branch, and they say, "What do we do now?" And there's no turning back now. Yeah, that's our Mobius and B-15. Yeah. I didn't think that. I just thought when we said "Who are you?" I thought that Mobius and B-15 are now changed, but they're not. So in that short scene, we get our
two different
Mobius
versions of them,
and we get the other Mobius, because the tie, he was all dishevelled and his hair was a mess and his tie was undone. And the next one, when he sees Loki, is all sort of like smart Mobius, and even B-15 looks a little bit different. I think it's the hair's all tidy rather than sort of like she's been in numerous battles. But we've got multiple. Again, we've talked about it already. We've got multiple TVAs and multiple Mobiuses. Yeah. And Mobii? There's Mobii? There's variants of variants. Yeah. It's so crazy. So crazy. And then at the end of that, again, I didn't pick up on it to the end, and we'll talk about the Kang. We'll talk about it. We've talked about the Kang statue. We know he's going to be like the next big bad. He's going to make Thanos look like nothing, I think. Yeah. She says, B-15, when they're talking about all the timelines branching, she says, does he just want us to let this all happen? Yeah. So they know full well that Kang is, obviously there's a statue of him, but they're fully accepting that in this universe Kang is running the show. Yeah. But is it Kang? Is it a male variant of Ravonna? Is it Loki? Is there a Loki running that TVA? Is this an alternate reality where Loki and Sylvie said okay, and now they're rolling with the TVA? Maybe. Because there's a bit in the trailers, which we have not seen, there's a bit where Loki is in what looks like Asgard in his Asgardian clothes, putting his arms out, doing the "Your Saviour has arrived" sort of stance, and we've not seen that. Oh. We've not seen that at all, which has got me. And so, going into sort of like final thoughts, we know obviously we're getting a Loki season 2. Yeah. Because it came up, that was the post-credits, which was a bit of a weak post-credits. Yeah, it was a bit... But then kind of good because we're getting it. Yeah. I think there's more to it than we think, because I think some people's reactions, I know some people's reactions, because we've done Podfans Assemble, we've already written it down, we'll talk about it in a minute, but I think some people are upset that we're potentially going to have to wait a long time for Loki season 2. That's kind of what I said to you, wasn't it? Because there's going to be a lot of films in between. Are we? I've got a feeling. Do you think they've already filmed it? Yeah. So do you think like they've filmed a 12-episode arc and they've split it? Well, apparently they have. Clark Gregg was quoted in an interview as saying that a while ago that Tom Hiddleston was filming 10 or 12 episodes of Loki, and we only got 6. Ooh, and we've seen this clip that wasn't in the show. Is that clip him as the leader of this TVA? Doing the Your Saviour has arrived?
Or is it Loki getting back to Asgard?
But also, was what they were filming in February on Tom Hiddleston's birthday Loki season 2?
Maybe.
Are they already well into this? It's the sort of thing Marvel would do. We could literally get a Loki season 2 at any point. We could just get an announcement and it's like, it's coming in 6 months.
Do you reckon it might come out either just before or just after Doctor Strange?
Could do.
Because that's, what, March 22?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, March or May.
So that would make sense on timescales, like if that was to come out in
completely unexpected,
in kind of April or something.
Yeah. Don't know. Just confused, but it's good. As I said, the episode, season 2, I think it'll probably come sooner than we think. The episode, as I said, it already felt like a bit of a post-credit scene, a long post-credit scene, but it was still really good. I was a bit disappointed in the fact that Loki and Sylvie didn't get a massive amount to do. Yeah. But I do feel like they had their moments in episode 4 and 5. And
definitely.
This was sort of like setting it.
Setting up the new phase, the new story in it.
Yeah. And obviously setting up Loki's probable appearance in.
Because I said to you after I watched the episode as well, I went straight onto IMDb to have a look. Did. And Jonathan Major still wasn't credited on the last episode of Loki.
Yeah.
As anybody. And that's kind of what's made me go, hang on then. Because he's already been named as Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Not officially.
On IMDb, it's
yeah, but that's
I know it's not quite kind of, but it's there.
Marvel leaks happen because Marvel want them to leak.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of that, and they didn't want anybody to know he was definitely going to be in Loki. They wanted that element of surprise, and that's why we've not got a trailer for Spider-Man.
But I love that that's how they introduce things. Like, you've got Madam Hydra, the way she's been getting introduced into the films and stuff like that. Again, it was the same thing with Thanos at the beginning. Just that teaser introduction.
We just didn't have a TV series at that point.
I just love it. Yeah. I just think it's brilliant the way they do it.
And again, I'm really excited for What If because it's just going to be the next bit, isn't it? I hope we start What If with this.
Yeah.
The timeline's branching and the Watcher just sat there watching it all.
Do you know what would be good? Because it's animated, if Miss Minutes reintroduces it.
Yes. That'd be amazing.
Because it would fit very, very well.
Yeah. It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Just talking about the Watcher, the purpose of the Watcher in What If, I know we're getting well off Loki here, but the purpose of, just something we talked about before, he's the one who can see all these alternate realities.
So was the Watcher the fourth statue then, maybe?
Potentially, yeah. But if he can see it, I think there's numerous Watchers. But if they're the ones who can see all these alternate realities, we were saying, is there somebody even more powerful? Are the Eternals at a higher level that they can see it? Well, the Watcher is. Yeah. So maybe they are as well, and maybe they will be able to sort of see all these different places. Exciting times. Only a couple of weeks until What If. So yeah, I've got to fill the gap, but yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, we've got Pod Fans Assemble to do in a second, but that's it. That's the Loki takeover.
It's done.
Until Loki Takeover season 2 comes hopefully soon, not in 4 years. No. Should we do Pod Fans Assemble though and see what everybody else thought of it?
Yeah.
Pod Fans Assemble.
So first of all, what I'm going to run through is just kind of Black Widow.
Yes, because we didn't have it. We did, as we said, we didn't have a Pod Fans Assemble in the Black Widow bonus episode. If you've not listened to the Black Widow bonus episode, go back and listen to it, because I think a lot of people have sort of just sticking with the Loki run.
Yeah,
It's up there. It's on the website. It's on Apple Podcasts. You can go and listen to that as well.
So again, just be careful of this section, just in case of spoilers as well. So, I mean, we ran a poll just to let us know your thoughts on the movie. 43% said it was excellent. 34% said it was good or average. 4% said it was awful, and 19% still said they hadn't seen it yet.
Quite a few hadn't seen it. I am surprised that many people thought it was excellent.
I know.
I mean, I know we said spoilers for the bonus episode. We enjoyed it, didn't we? But we didn't. Yeah. We didn't think it was excellent.
Do you know what, though? I know we talked about it last week, but as it settled more and more, I'm going, do you know what? I really enjoyed it.
I had to fight the urge not to pay 20 quid on Disney Plus the other day to watch it, because it was off the other day, and I was like, I kind of just want to watch this.
It's just the humour again. Like, it's
Yelena.
Yeah.
Every time I see a clip or a gif of Yelena landing and doing that pose, I was like,
and then whipping her hair. It's just so good. But no, I mean, again, I would kind of say I'm between good and average and excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
kind of like really good, but I wouldn't say excellent.
Yeah.
So we then got a comment from @no_RJ7991 saying, I liked it better than Captain Marvel. To be honest, Captain Marvel was the worst Marvel movie. Ooh, the Dark World.
Oh, yeah. I went to Ant-Man, but yeah. yeah. Thor: The Dark World. Clearly, you've not seen it. I mean, I know a lot of people don't particularly like Captain Marvel. I don't really get all the hate for it. I think it wasn't the best Marvel movie, but
do you know, I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy it. Jude Law annoyed me a little bit.
That's the thing. It's like, I know we're going well off topic. That's what we do. If you're new to the podcast, get used to it because we digress massively. We've talked about it before. Like Suicide Squad, the first Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Awful film.
Yeah.
Awful film. Really enjoyed watching it though. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
When we went to cinema to watch it, we came out going, I think we both came out and said, shit film, brilliant.
Yeah.
It was dead entertaining.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel wasn't a shit film.
No.
It wasn't a great film, but it was entertaining.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching it. Thor: The Dark World. Nothing. Shouldn't have made it. No points. No points at all.
Then we've got Varun Tet. Could have been 2 movies in my opinion. More Widow training, more Widow events like Loki mentioned in Avengers when he was listing some of the red on a ledger. Go listen, you might be surprised by the long game when she met Barton and S.H.I.E.L.D. like so much. I 100% agree with this, first of all. Yeah. So there is a conversation which, when the Red Guardian's talking to the girls and he says about gushing red.
Yeah.
Loki said it to Black Widow
in
Avengers, and I was like, shut up. Yeah. As soon as I realised and put the two together, I was like, no way, that's amazing.
I'm dead impressed as well because these comments came out before we got these reactions to Black Widow before we released our bonus episode.
Yeah.
And even Stephanie there has said it should have been 2 movies. We said it should have been a TV series because it was too rushed, but it's clearly a common thought, not just us. Yeah, but I think rather than 2 movies, I still think the series would have been the best way of doing it.
Well, she gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Good. Yeah.
We then had Paul Sears. Brilliant. Thought the casting was spot on, except for Ray Winston and who the Taskmaster turned out to be. 100% agreed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yelena and Alexia were standout for me and look forward to seeing her and hopefully Red Guardian in future MCU films. Post-credit scene was a nice touch, ready for phase 4. I would love for like Red Guardian to be like emailing the Avengers all the time.
Please.
Being like,
please can I come and play?
Yeah, essentially.
I'm strong.
And they're all just like rolling their eyes and being like, I wish you'd just fuck off. Basically, I think that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Or he'd turn up for things and go, I'm here to help. And they're like, no, let the big boys do it.
I know.
And he's like, but I got in my suit and everything.
He's still a super soldier at the end of the day, isn't he?
Yeah. Then we had, we needed Rhodes podcast. Watched it last night, like most people I expect. Thoroughly enjoyed it with no real twists though. And as long as it brings Florence Pugh into the next phase of Marvel films, then I'm all for it.
Agreed.
Hated the cover of Teen Spirit at the start though. Mini rant up on Twitter.
I don't get that. I thought it was amazing. We said this in the bonus episode. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
I'm quite shocked at that actually.
I am a little bit.
Really, really enjoyed it.
I think it's just the thought. As I said at the start,
some people have said you can't replace that version.
And I think that's what I thought as well. But having listened to it, and I think if I'd listened to it and not been watching for the first time, not when I was watching the movie, maybe I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But every time I listen to the song, I just go back to that amazing opening sequence. That was great. Yeah. So maybe it's a bit biased on that point.
Maybe. Geeky Nate said, awesome film. Really wish we had it sooner, but the post-credit kind of explains why it's a phase 4. Either way, excited for more Yelena.
Yeah. Yelena is clearly the standout. Yeah. I don't know if we've got more comments yet, but it's like everybody keeps going back to Yelena.
100%. I thought she was just incredible.
Can't wait to see her in Hawkeye.
Then we've got Davey AK saying, amazing movie. Florence Pugh is a great addition to the MCU, as is David Harbour. Post-credit scene looks to set up for the Thunderbolts with the return of Julia Dreyfus. Yeah. But her last recruit, John Walker, is more associated with the Dark Avengers, so who knows? Time will tell. But here's a little fun fact. In the comics, the addition of Black Widow to the Thunderbolts is actually Natasha disguised as Yelena.
I've read this.
Now, after that tech we saw in the film, it really does make me wonder who we actually lost on Vormir. Cool twist, despite Scarlet leaving MCU.
Can you imagine if... I like Yelena, I like the character of Yelena, But can you imagine if we'd lost Yelena
after all this time?
Yeah. And that's why she had the vest on in Infinity War, because it wasn't Nat.
Yeah. But then she gave it to Nat at the end.
I know, yeah.
So that kind of throws that a little bit.
Again,
but I do love that idea.
Marvel fully know what they are doing.
100%.
I didn't think that it just would be it'd be a long game. Like, I think we wouldn't find out for years, but can you just imagine finding that out at the end? Like, when even
it was like, Natasha. Oh,
imagine though. It's clever though, because what you could do is when Marvel put everybody on short contracts now. They don't do the nine contract thing anymore. Everyone's on a short contract because not everybody wants to stay in them that long. Yeah. And also Marvel don't necessarily want everybody in them that long and have to sort of, find films for them. So imagine if we got to the point where Florence Pugh is done. Florence Pugh doesn't want to do the MCU anymore. Yeah. And rather than killing her off or having her sort of, sail off into the sunset, we bring back Scarlett Johansson. And because she's decided she wants to be back, that would be amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Marvel, do that. Cool. Do that.
So then we go on to Loki. So this is everyone's thoughts and theories on Loki.
We did a poll on that as well, did we?
We did do a poll. So we, again, asked, because there was a lot of mixed reactions coming out of Twitter off the back of it. So we just asked, and we asked for any reasons in the comments as well. So we actually got 67% said it was an amazing episode. 27% said it was average, and 6% said they hated it, which I find mad.
I can understand. Do you know what? I feel like I can. But I feel like I can understand every opinion there. I can get why you'd think it was amazing. I thought it was amazing. Yeah. I get why you'd think it was a bit average. Yeah. And I kind of get why you wouldn't like it at all if you really enjoyed episode 4 and 5, which were action-packed.
That's what I was going to say then.
Then I could get why you wouldn't necessarily hate it. And I think people don't like it because nothing really happened. And it didn't. You didn't need a whole episode for what actually happened. But the purpose of the episode was to explain. Yeah, yeah. And that's which is why I said it feels like a post-credit scene. So yeah. I get it. I don't agree with it, but I can wrap my head around it.
Yeah. So then kind of comments that followed that, we had a Dead Source who said John Majors was great. His performance was layered and interesting, and you can still see him reacting in the background while the other two fight. Outstanding performance. Yeah. To be fair, though, I mean, if I was I'm doing air quotes, a nobody coming into something as big as MCU and working alongside Tom Hiddleston, you know, and all that kind of stuff, I'd be bringing my A game. Yeah. Like, you would want to make sure that you're going to be remembered.
And he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Like,
killed it.
With it seemed like such ease as well. Like, I know. As somebody who kind of does stage work and stuff like that, seeing him, like, I was in awe a little bit.
He was brilliant. And again, we've said this already in this episode. Up until now, we didn't really know who he was. We knew Jonathan Majors was going to be playing Kang, apparently, but we didn't know who he was as an actor. I've never seen him in anything. I haven't. And to again, I'm repeating myself, but to leave that much of an impact on us as an actor.
Boy's got skills.
Yeah, amazing.
We then had Kenneth Wilson UK. What's the bet we get a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer now Loki is done? As the fallout from the show will impact the MCU multiverse, wouldn't it be so wild to see the TVA in the films too? Yes. I would love to see the TVA in the films.
Yeah. Well, it could just be kind of like the new Shield. It could be Phase 4 Shield. Yeah. Couldn't it? Because I think Sword's kind of not, is kind of like... So I see Sword as the new Hydra, and this maybe is the new Shield, or kind of a Hydra as well, depending on what reality you're in. But yeah, it'd be good to see them. And I agree. I think that we can have the No Way Home trailer now. Yeah. Any day now, Marvel. Bring it. Just drop it.
Do it.
I want it.
Dare you.
Yeah. Dare you. Double dare you.
Do you reckon that will get them to do it if we double dare them?
Do you know what they should do? And again, they would be missing a trick with it. They should drop the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer Friday, once everybody's had a chance to see it. If you're really into Loki, you'd have watched the episode by Friday. Yeah. They should drop it on Friday, and then next week I want Deadpool reacts to the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer with Peter Parker, with Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker.
Oh my god,
amazing! Yeah. Can you imagine that?
Be hilarious.
Do it, Marvel. Do it. Triple dare it.
He'd be like, How are you still doing it now? Aren't you like 60?
Yeah. Just imagine the comments.
Yeah.
And just Andrew Garfield dicking about in the background. You know the what is it?
Or just knocking on the window from the outside. Can I come in now? No, you're still on a timeout.
Do you remember like proper old YouTube video where the two guys are singing Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way, and in the background the entire video there's just a dude sat at the computer. It should just be that. Just have the whole Tobey Maguire for the whole thing and just Andrew Garfield in the background just like leaning over every now and then just to see what's going on.
Love it. Jesse Barry then said, I hated it apart from the last 10 minutes. The last couple of scenes were 10 out of 10, but everything else was just disappointing and predictable. Not my genre, to be honest, though, so I'm sure most people loved it. I will say the VFX and the music were fantastic throughout the series, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, they were. And I get it. I disagree. But I completely understand where she's coming from with it.
Yeah, I think because from the storyline, it looked like we were being promised a lot of action.
Yeah.
So we went from all of the action to pretty much zero.
Yeah. I wouldn't say disappointment, but surprise.
Yeah.
And it turned out good, but yeah, I was expecting
I think
big
for
battle.
people who prefer the action, I think it will have been a disappointment.
Yeah.
For me, I'm all about the story.
Yeah.
So as much as I love an action sequence and stuff, like the story's got to work for me. Otherwise, I walk out of it going, bit shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I had kind of the reaction I did to the first Suicide Squad and all of that kind of stuff as well. Yeah. Keeper of the Sacred Flame said, so disappointed, and we got to wait, another 4 years for the next season.
I hope not.
Not even an end credit scene. Wasn't a terrible episode, but the 5th episode would have made it 100 times better finale.
Yeah, I've said it. I agree. It was like I see it as episode 4 and 5 were the big finale, and this was the post credits. I'm repeating myself, but that's it. And it's not just us, clearly, who think it.
Yeah, but like where he said about 4 years for the next season. So yeah, we've thought that, but hang on,
it could be sooner.
Could it be dropped?
Yeah,
imagine.
Just to fill a gap.
Yeah. Then Rachel B UK said, I was really looking forward to Loki. It's exactly my kind of thing, but never in a million years did I expect this to be so stunning, shocking, funny, moving, and to change how I viewed my beloved MCU and give me something which rivals my love for Endgame and Infinity War. Loved it all.
Such a contrast in opinions.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And I love that though, because that's what starts the conversations.
Exactly.
I really enjoy that. I mean, if we all just really enjoyed it, it'd just be like, yeah, great.
We wouldn't have a podcast.
We wouldn't have anything to talk about.
Exactly.
So yeah, but I mean, I probably wouldn't say it to that extent because I still love Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
But it's up there. It is. And especially with kind of the CGI and stuff like that, and the visual aspect of it was just so impressive, and I think it needed to be to essentially keep us going with all of the dialogue.
Yes. Yeah.
If that makes sense. I think we still needed something to enjoy. I'm not saying that the dialogue wasn't enjoyable, because it was. The way it was told was very, very well done on the actors' parts. Like it was brilliant. But it's a lot to take in. Yes. It is a hell of a lot to take in.
If that whole episode was if it was the same episode, but rather than them going to the castle and exploring the castle, etc., it had been in an office at the top floor of the TVA. Wouldn't have had. It could have been the same episode, but it was the look. It was how amazing that castle looked and the sacred timeline outside. Yeah. If it just been an office, which it could have well been, 70s style office with the way the TVA was, it wouldn't have been half as good.
I must admit, when they were standing looking at the door and it was opening and it was taking ages, part of me was like, castle, is it Bowser?
Is it Bowser? Multiverse, isn't it?
Imagine. Then we also had Beardall Paul saying, thought it was amazing. There is so much that can happen from this. Got a feeling this guy is going to be very busy. And he added a picture of Doctor Strange. Yeah. I mean, just the fact of the title of Doctor Strange 2. He's going to be a busy guy, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He's going to be sitting there thinking, what is this shit I've got to clean up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Then on Facebook, we got a couple of comments. Tom said that's one of the best episodes of Doctor Who I've ever seen.
It kind of was, isn't it?
Do you know what, though? I think, because I've thought this a couple of times throughout the series, and I think it's just because Sylvie looks a little bit like Jodie Whittaker as well, which doesn't help. It's kind of the shoulder-length blonde hair and all of that kind of stuff. And with it travelling through time dimensions and things like that, I was like, yeah, I've got a bit of a Doctor Who feel about this.
It does, doesn't it? It does, definitely.
Yeah.
I think I said to Tom as well, I don't watch Doctor Who. I've seen episodes, but I don't really watch Doctor Who. If they got Jonathan Majors as the Doctor after that performance, how good would that? I'd watch it. Those same mannerisms, the same character, but as the Doctor. Yeah. He'd be such a good Doctor.
He would be brilliant, to be fair. And then we got Sean saying, this setup, together with the fact there will definitely be a season 2, means the multiverse is here to stay. I predict that Doctor Strange will somehow recruit Wanda in her capacity as a Nexus to be in to help manage the multiverse. That also fixes the power level mismatches with Falcon and all of those guys, because she can be kept busy off to the sidelines, similar to Captain Marvel being off space hopping, and bring her in for Hail Mary, Ex Machina whenever they need. Makes sense.
It does. Don't like it.
No, I don't like it. I'd be gutted because Wanda is a fantastic character. But no, I can see why they would feel the need to if that was the case.
It's more the fact that I don't like the fact that we're gonna end up having to split the team and have them, because it's not even just Wanda. If you think, like, Doctor Strange is like ridiculously powerful. Yeah. Captain Marvel's obviously stupid powerful. Yeah. We've got Peter Parker with magic webs, as we've already said. But even if you don't take the magic webs, he's basically got an Iron Man suit. So he's still a level above, like, Sam and even Bucky to a degree. Yeah. And then probably Loki maybe going to even end up being one of the Avengers at this stage, and he's purely good and he's got all these magic powers. Yeah. And Thor, and then Jane Foster's Thor. It's like, what is Sam and Bucky just going to be sat there? And they're brilliant characters, and I don't want them to be, but they're just going to be sat there like, what the hell am I supposed to do?
It's like
this?
Everyone's driving down a motorway in a car, and there they are on the bicycles riding alongside.
It's going to be like,
catch up.
It's going to be like at the end of Harry Potter when Filch is sweeping up the dust. It's like, we'll just clean up. Yeah. There's not going to be anything else for them to do.
We'll do the TV appearance at the end.
Exactly. We'll do the interviews. It's just, and there's such good characters, and that it just worries me to a degree. And you've got the Eternals coming out and mention the Eternals.
I know.
How are they going to fight on the same team as the Eternals?
I know, it's
Bucky and Sam. And they're such good characters. I just feel like it's a shame. I trust Marvel, but
the fact that the next Captain Marvel film is called The Marvels.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, that level of stuff as well.
And they're all like massively super powered. Yeah, but I still trust it.
Yeah. So should we wrap up?
Let's do wrap up, yeah. Right, so thanks for listening to the show, and don't forget to come back next week. I haven't actually got written down what we're doing next week because we don't actually technically know what we're doing next week. So we're all about the polls on Twitter this week. We've put a poll on Twitter, and we're going to do another one of our bad movie reviews. Yeah. If you've not listened to our last one, Ghost Rider, I thought it was quite a good episode. We just had a laugh for an hour, basically.
Pretty much.
Go back and listen to it. By the time this episode comes out, the poll will be over. But we'll announce on Twitter, Facebook, the website, what the episode's going to be this week. At the moment, you've got the choice between us reviewing Green Lantern, which Anthony's never seen. Yeah. I really can't wait to watch that. Fantastic Four, I was going to say the bad one. The worst one. The really bad one. The latest one, the really bad one.
I don't think I watched that all the way through the first time, you know.
I think I have, but it's not good. It's not good. But it'd be good to do a bad movie review.
Yeah.
Catwoman. Please don't vote for Catwoman. Oh, you can't now anyway, it's over. Oh God, I hope Catwoman doesn't win. I hate Catwoman.
That was so funny now if it does.
We've got, what was the other one? Oh, Ghost Rider 2. Ghost Rider 2, which Anthony doesn't want to.
I'm just no more Nick Cage.
No, it's all right. You love him secretly.
I'm going to go and protest somewhere, get Nick Cage off my screen.
So next week's episode will be a bad movie review of whichever wins the poll, and we probably will have a review up at some point as well, but there'll be of whatever comes second, but we'll release a bit more information about that when it's time to drop the information on that. You can find all our episodes at thatsuperherothing.com, along with all of our social media links. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. On the website, you can also sign up for our email newsletter, where you can receive new episode alerts, news on upcoming shows, and some behind-the-scenes looks at the show. You can contact us on any of the socials and submit thoughts and theories for next week's Pod Fans Assemble on there as well. And then, as always, if you've enjoyed the show, please consider rating and reviewing it. It really helps us get seen by more people, and we appreciate everybody who's left a review so far.
Definitely. There's also, are they going to release a Loki behind the script, like behind the scenes?
There will be, yeah. They'll do they'll. I would imagine they'll do a drop assembled, so we'll probably do that with the news and the bad movie review next week. If they drop one. There's not been enough.
If they do, no, it hasn't.
I'm sure they will. I'm pretty sure they will. And they were talking about, I know we've digressed massively from the wrap up. Apparently they were doing a Black Widow one as well.
Oh.
So I wonder whether maybe they'll wait a little bit of time for people to watch it first. But yeah, we'll cover it all. We'll cover it as it happens. But yeah, so come back next week for the bad movie review, and we'll put on Twitter, Facebook, etc. what it's going to be. Other than that though, thanks very much for listening, and that's everything from me.
Cheers guys, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.